Greetings, welcome, and good day. You are now tuned into the first episode of the Seasoned Vet Podcast. I'm so happy that you could make it to the inaugural chapter of this show. As you may have realized by now, this is a show dedicated to the experience of the Black Lady veteran. I am a two-time veteran. I served in the United States Air Force for 4 years, I served in the United States Coast Guard for 9, and I had the pleasure of serving as a Black woman both of those times. For those familiar with the uniforms of those two branches, it just looks like I found an outfit I like and stuck with it. Now, it probably won't surprise you to learn that Black Lady service members have a very unique experience when it comes to navigating the waters of military life. Somehow things that are so trivial, so run-of-the-mill, such non-issues with other demographics suddenly become career-threatening situations with us. And that's exactly what this show is about. Our unique experience. Our experience is so different that sometimes it leads to a policy change. And that's what happened with our first guest. That's why I've lovingly titled this episode, Girl, Get You Some Business. Hey, friend.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good.
You look great. I love your hair. You look happy and moisturized and hydrated.
Thank you. I'm trying to follow you.
You're doing wonderfully, phenomenally. All right. So, what is your connection to the service?
I am in the Coast Guard, active duty.
Whoa.
Yep.
How long have you been in, if you don't mind my asking?
6 years active duty, 2.5 reserve, currently active duty. Yep.
Would you say you grew up around a lot of veterans? Do you come from a family of vets? Like, how did you get exposed to military life, to where you got interested in?
So, yeah, I grew up in Norfolk, so this whole city is nothing but military. We're the biggest naval base in the world. So I've been doing some kind of military program since middle school. That's the heavy military influence. That's all I know. Mm-hmm.
So, JROTC?
Sea Cadets and then JROTC.
Yeah. A lifetime of service. So how do you feel about your time in uniform?
My time in uniform, even with all the, the military background as a kid, it's still been pretty rough. Active duty, so it's been rough.
It's been rough. Does any particular time period stand out to you?
Definitely my time at Base Portsmouth sticks out. That was a rough time for me with leadership. I started off with like a really nice Master Chief, and then the Master Chief switched out and I was up for a rude awakening.
Oh wow.
So
a switch in leadership led to a switch in treatment.
Yes.
All right. So the treatment did not improve with the new leadership. It got
no,
worse.
It definitely, it was like night and it was like day and then night. Like the lights got cut off. So the first Master Chief that I had, she was actually an African American woman. She was very sweet. She went through everybody's cubicle and asked like how they were doing, and like she knew about our kids, everything that we had going on. Just really sweet. And then the next Master Chief that I got was very old school in how she thought leadership should be. So
your new Master Chief, was she someone that looked like you?
She was a female. That's about it.
Okay, so not someone that looked like you.
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How do you think your experience could have been improved during that time and in the military as a whole?
I think if at that time I had somebody like a mentor, somebody that would actively mentor and engage me, but that came later on. Mm-hmm. after I went through my own struggle. That's when help started to come out of the forest. Yeah, it's like, oh, okay. Oh, what's your name? Okay.
So it's safe to say that in the beginning of your career, when you needed guidance, when you needed mentorship, it wasn't available. You had to you had to seek it out?
Yeah, pretty much. I had to fall first. And I didn't really have to seek it out. It was like I fell, and then word got around, and
the rescue team came in.
Yeah.
Suddenly, the village appears.
Yeah.
But look, at least they showed up.
Or I wouldn't be here. So.
That's what's up. Tell me about a time you experienced something, either good or bad, and it was because of your race and gender.
So definitely the hair. The hair was well, as a reservist, I would like look at the military and think like, okay, I'm literally for 1 weekend out of the month, I literally cannot get this hairstyle or do this with my hair, or even get a nose piercing, or just do things just because this 1 week in a month, I got to have my hair a certain way. So that was a thing, but it was like, okay, I'm in the military. That's, that's what it is. Whatever, I accepted it. But then once I went active duty, me being natural, my hair was always on my mind. My hair was always on my mind anyways, even if I had my hair straight, because you got to pay, you got to get it done, you got to maintain it, you want to look neat, whatever. But then once I went natural, it just got more challenging trying to be natural and be in uniform correctly, like you know. So those challenges plagued me for a while until I left that unit, and I had to leave that unit through a civil rights complaint.
So you filed an EEO claim, is that the one?
I did.
Okay, and the EEO claim led to you being moved to another unit?
Yes, yep.
Okay, how quickly did they move with that one?
They have like a certain time frame that they can take, as long as the legal time frame. So they moved me out within regulations, probably like a week, maybe not even. Like it was pretty fast, but me going ahead and putting in that civil rights complaint was really hard to do because I was just so worried of like my leadership coming back on me, word getting around. Because even though they say like they're not supposed to, like they find other ways to get to you.
Retaliation.
Yeah,
you were afraid of retaliation.
It was like hell on earth. Like I was in therapy, I was in medical all the time. Like my medical record is thick because of that time I spent over there at that unit. The only reason why I put in the civil rights complaint is because, I'm sitting in this office with my leadership, and it's a week after the service-wide exam. Mind you, like our evals are supposed to be done in March.
Yes.
It was in May, and it was a week after I had took the service-wide exam, had taken off to study for the service-wide exam, that they finally did my evals, and they told me that I was not recommended for advancement.
After you had already taken the service-wide.
Yeah, and I scored like an 80-something, I found out later, but I wasn't even on the advancement list.
Wow.
Which put me behind. But the conversation in there, there was this senior chief that was sitting outside the door, and he heard the conversation with my leadership, and he said the way it sounded, he felt like I needed to put in civil rights case, like I needed to do something, or it was just only gonna get worse and they were gonna have fun with me.
Wow.
So I put it in, and he was right. Like I got out of it, but it was very stressful, like the whole process. I would talk to, because it was a lot that went with it, and we can touch on it later. But like it was a lot that went into me putting that in the harassment, that preceded that. I don't know. It was a lot, but that civil rights case got me out of the situation. I mean, they still dirtied my record, but luckily I had a really good captain, and he was like, he took care of me, and he took care of her as well. I'll just say that.
You filed an EEO claim. You got civil rights involved because somebody else overheard your conversation. Somebody else cued in on the situation and was able to advise from there. So before that person cued in, before that person overheard your situation, would you have known to file an EEO claim?
I thought about it, but I was not going to do it. It was a little murky, and I was already in a lot already. I didn't want to make it more murky. And I didn't understand that, if I just do this, the command is going to have to fix it some type of way, like make me shut up pretty much. So they're going to try to give you what they can. Like you literally can ask for what you want. And my biggest thing was, take me out of this unit, get me out of here because it's hell. And they did that. They also removed a negative page 7 out of my record that that command or that master chief had put in there. So he took me out. I got my negative page 7 removed. I think it was unfounded though.
So you filed the claim and the claim was unfounded, or was okay? That's incredibly unfortunate. The fortunate part is the action got taken care of.
Yeah.
You actively got taken out of the situation. So you got taken out of the situation, but this person doesn't have anything reflecting on their record as to why.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. They, like I said, I had a pretty good captain. He reassured me that something was going to be done.
Go captain.
Yep. Yep.
So the next question is actually, when you complain to your chain of command, do you feel like you are heard? Outside of this situation, there may be other situations where...
You just have to be careful about like what you bring up.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, I'm at a good unit right now where my chief, she listens.
Mm-hmm.
It's a much smaller department, and she listens and tries to. But you definitely have to be careful because, like, you pretty much, like, if you complain or you say something that's against what your leadership believes or doesn't bring great credit or looks well on your leadership, it can backfire. Like, there's a way of expressing it without hurting yourself. So,
Playing politics.
yeah, politics. Yep, that's the thing.
And there's a lot of it.
Yeah.
So far in your illustrious Coast Guard career, have you made friends with any other Black lady service members?
Okay, yeah, like, there's, but not, so like when I think of a friend, I think of somebody maybe that I'm talking to regularly.
Mm-hmm.
I've made connections, so to speak, but what I found being in units where there's other Black females,
Mm-hmm.
they're kind of like to themselves, like, especially if you're somebody like me who like, not like me, but like, especially if you're somebody who like wants to talk about things or bring issues to the forefront, or
We're all scared.
yeah, it's like everybody's trying to protect their career.
Right.
Right. And even myself, like, I got to think about things, but like a lot of Black females that I meet in the Coast Guard that are higher up especially, but they're strategic. They're political queens.
Mm-hmm.
But they're protecting themselves, their families, their careers. So
It sounds like we're so busy protecting our careers and our image that we don't make room for friendship. We don't make room for relationships.
right.
Would you say that was something that's exclusive to us? Because you see your white office mates chatting it up, kicking it with each other. They'll go to beach day. They'll go out and have fun with each other. So do you feel like that's a problem exclusive to us, or the situation exclusive to us?
I don't know. Like, I think maybe, yeah, because like I've never noticed that or paid that close attention to what my white counterparts do. But like, I don't have a lot of experiences going out with Black females that I've met in the Coast Guard and doing stuff with them. For one, there's not a lot of us. Like,
Facts.
I don't know one Black female Coast Guardsman in my building right now. I mean, there's not a lot of us walking around. I don't know, when we do see each other, it's not like we're like, oh, hey, I'm Black woman, you're Black girl, let's hang out. We don't do that. We just like, oh, look, keep it moving. Like, so yeah, I haven't been able to connect with any my whole time really being here, going out, locally, doing stuff with people. It just hasn't been a thing. But yeah.
Hey, I hope you make friends in the future.
Gosh.
Yeah, talk to a Black lady.
I mean, I have a lot of friends in the Coast Guard, but they're not Black females. There's just not that many of us. And the ones that we do meet, by the time you connect with them, they're gone. And
Facts.
it's like we're very few. But I have a lot of Black brothers, I could say, like, we're really tight, we're really close.
Right on. Right on.
But there's probably more Black males than there are Black females, I would think.
That can be said with any of the branches, probably.
Yeah. Like, I look around, I can spot a black dude, but I can't spot a Black female. I can think of two right now in my building, black males, 3. But I can't think of one in my building. So
Wow. We are the few.
Yeah, for real.
Can you tell me a war story? Can you tell me a story where you were tested and you came out on top? A time where you won the battle?
Yeah, so going back to that challenging unit with the challenging Master Chief, the hair thing was an issue.
Hold on. I'm sorry to cut you off. This hair thing, this unit, this was pretty early in your career. Like,
yeah.
This was towards the beginning, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So you were a very young, impressionable Coast Guardsman going through this.
Yep.
Okay. Continue, please.
So, yeah, there was actually, at that specific unit, there were Black females there. There was at least two more black females in that office, and we all had our share of like just comments about our hair. There was one girl, she had gotten braids, and the first day she came, she had got all these compliments from everybody about how beautiful her braids were. How, you know, they're asking questions like how long did it take, whatever. And then
can I touch it?
Yeah. And then
God.
so, but the Master Chief wasn't a problem at that time, because I don't even think, no, she was there, but it was the Senior Chief. It was a Senior Chief there. She was infamous Senior Chief. Like this Senior Chief, if you were a black female and you were working at the time she was working there, you probably knew of her talking about your hair. Like you did not want to be in her presence.
The Senior Chief.
She was known.
Did she look like us?
She was not African American. If I say what she wasn't white either though.
Okay.
Yeah. But her hair texture was definitely different than mine and ours. But yeah, so the Senior Chief walks past, looks at her hair, and then goes to her supervisor and tells her supervisor that she pretty much needs to remove her braids before she comes back to work the next day.
Girl.
So this girl spent all this money on her hair.
No, indeed.
And she left. She got her braids taken out. But yeah, that was scary, because I'm like, dang, like you really got to be on your measurements, you know. And if you're white, you don't have to think about that unless you want to think about that. Like you don't have to think about the size of your braids. You can just go to work. Now, if you want to think about the size of your braids, you can go ahead and get some braids installed, but that's by choice, you know, whatever. Mm-hmm. For our hair, it's just easier if they want us to conform and look like everybody else for us to go ahead and get braids. Otherwise, like what I had to deal with was when I used to wear my hair like really short, like fades and stuff. Mm-hmm. I go on maternity leave, I come back and I'm growing my hair out. You know, it's raising eyebrows. They're like, my name was different at the time, but they were like, hey, can you go ahead and or what are you gonna do with your hair? Are you gonna braid it or straighten it out? I know you guys can do certain things with your hair. And that was E6 that asked me that, but he was asking me because he said he was looking out for me, because some officers at All Hands were talking about my hair and how thick it was, and they were just wondering what I was gonna do. My hair was within regs. It was getting close to the limits, but it was within regs. But it was my choice to go ahead and grow my hair out. Before I came back to work, there was another girl who cut her hair just like mine. Like she had a fade, like a short, really short haircut. Mm-hmm. But she was white and Hispanic. But she asked me before going back to work, what was I gonna do with my hair? And I'm like, bitch, what you gonna do with your hair? Like, why you asking about mine? Like, we did the same thing, but you know, I knew what she was referring to. Like, my hair grows out, hers lays down, it falls. So I gotta be, you know, pretty much, you know, real careful about how my hair looks wearing that uniform. So it was just something I had to think about. But when that E6 came by and said that officers were talking about my hair, I went ahead to like the barbershop on base and let whoever was in the barbershop cut it. Because I'm like, I'm not about to deal with people commenting on something like this. Like, I'm here trying to do my job. I just got back. It's only been 1 week since I've been back, and I'm having issues already. So, yeah, I got my hair cut. This other girl who was having issues with the same Senior Chief, she calls me. She asked me for my number, and I didn't know why. She was like, I want to talk to you about something. I was like, all right, cool. Christ. And then so she calls me. And I'm picking up my kids from daycare, and she's on her way to go pick hers up. And she was like, hey, why'd you cut your hair? Like, she was like, did somebody say something to you? And I was like, yeah. And then she was like, oh, okay, probably the same Senior Chief that said something to me. She was like, well, they need to learn about our hair, like, you know, whatever. Just saying, like, you know, it may be like more of an informational thing. So, you know, I told her we should probably do like a campaign, like just start telling people about our hair, because obviously they don't know about our hair texture and why is, you know, the stress that they put on us as African American females. So yeah, so then we started campaigning around base, just talking to different people. We held a focus group to talk about the hair policies and our struggles. We did some surveys and sent those out to as many people as we could to get people's feedback, African Americans' feedback, and everybody else's feedback as well, because we wanted to show that African Americans have stress about something as simple as hair, right, where other people don't. But what we found was, you know, white women had some, you know, a little bit of something too, but Black females had it pretty bad.
The worst.
Yeah, so
like we're the only ones hitting up the barbershop in the middle of the day because somebody
right.
made a slight comment
Yeah.
threatening our career.
Exactly. And like, so with that, Epic, like she was involved with Epic, and then which is a networking type of group that two African American men came up with.
What does Epic stand for?
Enlisted Professionals in Connection. So the sole purpose of Epic is to create a network of people, and also to help with recruitment and retention of women and minorities. So I didn't know anything about Epic. Like I said, it took me like going through some stuff for them to like show up. And when they showed up, it was like, okay, who? Okay, cool. They're like, oh yeah, well, we're gonna put you in contact with such and such at headquarters so you can change policy, like,
nice.
So then we started working with headquarters. Headquarters was, talking to us on the phone. They're like, okay, well, these are our issues that we're having at the uniform board. Can y'all give us some memos? We need memos. So I drafted up a few memos and I sent it to our representative at headquarters for the uniform board, and she changed it. So now, we can wear ponytails. We can wear bigger afros, bigger buns.
Amen.
And they're a little bit more nicer about, the language that they use when they're talking about our hair. So, but that was a win for me because I was going through some stuff with that unit. But
and you were very young in rank in the situation as well.
Yeah.
Because also you are still very young in rank. It feels like a lot of undue stress.
Yeah.
It feels like you went through a lot just to prove that you're worthy to exist in this space.
Yeah.
And that's not something anybody else has had to do. No one else has to fight for their right to just let their hair grow the way it naturally does.
Yeah.
You made it easier for a lot of young Black women under you coming through.
Yeah.
That was a win. It was a win for Black women in the Coast Guard. You had some inspiration for that policy too, right? Like, did you look at other branches and see what they were doing?
Yes. It was a lot to all of that happened. Like, we did have to do research and see what the other branches currently were doing, and then try to use that to persuade or as an argument, like, okay, if the other branches are doing that, why haven't we done it yet?
Right.
Like, what's taking so long? So yeah, we definitely had research. We had PowerPoints. We had explanations about the different types of hair textures, like the ABC, the letters. Yeah. So so yeah, it was a lot that went with it. After that though, it was like, and what I didn't know was that through making all that noise, which I'm not a disrespectful person.
Of course.
I'm not even outspoken. Like I'm pretty, like my energy's pretty quiet. I'm a good person.
You don't have to campaign for how nice you are. I can hear the softness in your voice. I had to literally push this microphone up to your face to get any sound out of you. That's how soft you are.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but after that, no matter what I did in this new command that I was in, I looked like a rebel or like somebody who just went against authority, or I just had the spotlight on me, and I wasn't aware. Like, I was under a microscope.
Nice. And
my punishments got harder because of that stuff. It was like I couldn't escape it, and I had like a lot of, that's where the mental health issues started rolling in. Because I was under a microscope and I had no idea. I had no idea what was going on.
During the hair situation.
This was during this. I mean, it's all encompassing. So after we routed the policy, the memos, a month later, I got written up.
Wow. Wow.
Because of me wearing a headband. Mind you, that day I was taking a photo to route up to the uniform board. The senior chief that everybody talked about had approached me while I still had it on, because after I took the photos, I wore it for the rest of the day, and that was my fault. I messed up, but
she was waiting. She was waiting to cut. She wanted to see. She was like waiting on you to slip up a little. By the way, this senior chief is trash, and I hate her. Go ahead.
But yeah, this senior chief.
The person being interviewed is not gonna say this, but I will. Fuck that bitch, man. Like, that bitch was trash. She was a racist piece of shit, and I don't like her. I'm not editing this out either. Go ahead.
But yeah, so this senior chief, I walked past her office, and I went and sat back down. She came and approached me, and pretty much, questioned me about what I was doing, like with the headband on. I told her what it was for and everything, and she seemed, okay with my answer. I took it off, my bad, whatever. She went back to her office, and then like 3 weeks to maybe a month later, I'm sitting down in an office with my master chief and my chief, because that senior chief had told her a story and twisted my words.
She told her a fucking lie? Okay,
yeah. And I sounded like a disrespectful person, like very disrespectful. The way she wrote it out in the negative page 7. That would go on my record for 3 years.
Wow.
Mind you, when the senior chief approached me, my whole body got hot, like everything. So I'm like already defensive. I'm like, oh, this is my career. I got 2 kids, and she's like, oh, I did all this stuff. Now this is where everything falls.
Your whole life and livelihood is depending upon this woman.
Yeah.
Just not leaving you the fuck alone.
Yeah, and like, I actually had told the lady that I was working with from headquarters what what happened. And she was like, oh, don't worry about it. We're about to change that anyways. And I was like, okay. But I thought it was it, because the senior chief walked away. She said, okay. She seemed fine. But, like later on, I'm sitting.
That bitch was plotting.
Yeah.
And planning.
She got back at me. Like, the lady, it was hard even getting her into our focus groups and our little sit downs that we were having. We would send her an invite and she either wouldn't respond, or the one time she did come, she was on her phone the whole time.
Bitch.
Like right in our face. Like she was sitting right in front of us, and she just, and she even said, she made a comment during the session, and she was just like, are we done? Can we go now? Like,
I hate this bitch. I hate her.
She was, we were like kind of directly addressing her indirectly, because we wanted to inform her and maybe change, how she did things. But it didn't, because she's still in power. She's a senior chief, master chief now. And I was...
Oh, and she got a promotion.
I was an E4.
Lovely. It is nice to know that the Coast Guard is still promoting garbage.
Yeah. So I was biting off more than I could chew at the time. And I was associating myself with another girl who, they didn't really like too much. So yeah, they definitely wrote me up. And it stayed in my record for a little bit until that civil rights case came about. Nice. And then it got pulled out.
Oh my God.
But it was rough. And, even after that, it still didn't stop. Like, I was in the hallway one day, and my captain, who had came to like our focus groups and meetings prior to that negative page 7, and he asked me, he saw me in the hallway looking down, because I was full of depression, anxiety. I was on antidepressants, pills, staying late at work, because I just felt like I was walking on eggshells. So I was trying to protect myself any way I could, but it just wasn't working. I told him that I wasn't enjoying myself at work and I wasn't happy there. He didn't like that, because, he didn't like that. So he did talk to the master chief, and what I found out later was the master chief was trying to defend her decision to give me that negative page 7.
This was the new master chief?
Yeah, this is the new one. The new one that gave me the negative page 7. Oh, wow.
So you had a trash-ass senior chief and a trash-ass master chief.
The senior chief wasn't even in my command. She wasn't even...
This bitch, yeah, she went out of her fucking way to not mind her fucking business. She's not even in your fucking...
No, she's not in my command.
This bitch.
Yeah, so it was pretty bad. The captain found out about it, talked to the master chief. The master chief felt like she had to defend herself. And so that's why I felt like I was walking on eggshells. The hair stuff still kept happening, though. I'm sitting at work, and this civilian comes up to me and is like, hey, just to let you know, they're talking about your hair. Just make sure it's within regs. She was like, the senior chief and the master chief are talking about it, and they're saying, why haven't the chief...
Why are they having so much fucking conversation about your goddamn... Don't they have better shit? And literally, in E7 and in E8, I'm sorry, E8 and E9,
yes,
the only thing they can discuss is the hair follicles of a fucking E4. Bitch, get a life. Both of you hoes. Y'all trash.
Yeah, so that, they were talking about it, and they wanted my chief to move in. So I thought, okay, let me go ahead and talk to my E6, which was advised to me by these new mentors that I picked up through Epic. So I went and I talked to my E6 and I was like, hey, I just want to make sure my hair is within regs. So yeah, I talked to my E6 and she said that, well, she didn't like that I had went to her and asked her to make sure that my hair was in regs. She thought it was silly. And,
Bitch. I think it's silly that an E8 and an E9 cannot find better conversation pieces other than the hair of an E4.
Yeah, so it actually got pinned against me later on in my evals. They ranked me low. I think I got a 3.
Hold on. No. Anything but... All right, evaluations are taken or done every 6 months for all the ranks. And the highest you can go is a 7, the lowest you can go is a 1. But anything below a 4 requires an explanation. They knew they had to explain why they were marking you below a 4, and they still did it.
I definitely got some 3s during that period.
What the fuck?
But it might not have been grooming, so to speak. It could have been, I know one was like responsibility, and that was because during the 3307 session, and during the 3307 session, when they were sitting down talking to me, they were trying to tell me that I said certain things that I didn't say, and I didn't want to agree to it, and I didn't want to sign the 3307 because I thought the way they wrote it just portrayed me in a way that wasn't me.
That's not something that you can be marked down. Not signing a 3307, that's just exercising your right to not... You don't have to sign a 3307. These people are garbage.
So yeah.
And that was retaliation.
Yeah, it was the same couple people. So yeah, that got marked. That was brought up during my counseling session, that I asked my E6 to look at my hair for me and make sure I was good. When I told her that, I had heard from a peer that the Master Chief and Senior Chief were talking about my hair again, she wanted to know where, like, the source. And I felt like by me giving the source, that's just giving them somebody else to target. Plus, I don't, like, that person was looking out for me, so why am I going to throw that person underneath the bus? Right. Like, no, I'm not going to give you the source, even though I wanted to protect myself as much as I could. But ultimately, I knew that it was going to be shit no matter what. So I could give this person away, which I didn't want to, but even if I did, I was still going to be a target, or I could not, and at least protect that person, and I'm still going to be a target. So, but yeah, it was dark days, and I still had like a couple more years left there. So after that, that's when the counseling session happened, and the civil rights case, and then I got moved out. But after that happened, like, I was like a shook puppy, like going to all my units.
Once again, very young in the Coast Guard, very young in rank, and you had to fight for your right to exist as a Black woman.
Yeah, so it was definitely rough.
The win in this situation sounds like the policy change.
The win in this situation was definitely the policy change, and then also placing number 1 on the service-wide exam.
Whoa, come on!
But I got so many
my girl
kudos.
Be studying, y'all. Number 1 with the bullet. I love it. Yep. Recruitment and retention is down across all branches and with all demographics. Black women are not excluded from that. This was true even before the pandemic hit. Why do you think Black women are disinterested in joining the military? Is it because we don't want E8s and E9s discussing our hair?
I mean, for sure, like, I'm sure that crosses people's mind. Like, even I mentored a girl who was coming into the Coast Guard off the street. And
don't say off the street.
Well, not off the street.
She was a civilian?
Yeah, so my bad. So I mentored a girl who was a civilian. She wasn't military yet. And most women, me included, the first thing I think is like, oh, how am I going to do my hair at boot camp? It's a stressful thing to think about. Even, like, I've been sent, like, people have called me and asked, hey, can you talk to such and such? She's having issues. Can you just, confirm with her what the current hair policy is and make sure that, she's handling things right at her current unit, because she's a recruit and she's having issues already. So the hair thing is definitely something, at least, that crosses your mind. You might think, oh, let me just cut my hair off so I don't have to deal with it. But you still going to have to deal with it, because what's going to happen when your hair get thick? You're going to have to either get braids or figure out some way to keep your hair within the bulk the bulk requirement.
Right.
So it's always something that we have to think about. So I think that's, that might run across their minds. And then just the current culture of today, people don't really want to join the military. People are becoming more informed and woke, and that type of movement just doesn't go with military. However, I think if you're going to join the military, I don't think I'm alone, but there's probably a few people maybe who agree with me that the Coast Guard is probably the best branch to go into if you want to join the military.
Okay.
So I do think that.
In spite of the stories that we just heard from you, you actually are onto something. Like, it may not be easy in the Coast Guard, but other branches do have it worse. And that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
That's saying a lot.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have it great, but it can get worse. My goodness.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be this bad.
Yeah, I think the other branches, they do have bigger diversity. Like, I remember I went to a joint service project, TDY. Coast Guard walked in, all of us in blue suits, mostly men, white. We had
that sounds about right. Yeah.
We had one guy who might have been mixed. We had a white girl with blonde hair, and so I stuck out anyway. All these tall white men. Then you see the Army walk in, even the Air Force. Army walk in, they got the little black girls with the baby edges, like the studs. The little baby edges. But they got like a swag.
When you say baby edges, I just want to dive into this a little bit.
Basically, it's like,
they swooped it.
They swooped it. They got
little
swoops.
bangs.
Yeah.
Okay, they laid their edges.
Their edges were laid.
Go Army. Okay.
Yeah.
This sounds very pretty.
Yeah, very. Even like the girl who was in charge of our whole joint operation, she was a black female, and I ran into her one day, but I didn't know her rank. She ended up being pretty high, and she was in charge of the whole thing. I saw her talking to everybody. I'm like, oh. But
don't you love when that
yeah,
happens?
I'm like,
you're just talking to a person, and then you find out, oh wow, you actually have a lot of rank.
Yeah, and she told me, she was like, oh, because I was telling her I need to shoot. She's like, oh yeah, I like your hair, and I was like, oh, thank you, and I was like, I need a retwist though, and she was like, oh, you want me to do it? And I was like, yeah. So she gave me her number. She offered to do a retwist for me, and this girl is like a 05 in the Army, leading the whole joint operation. So I was like, okay, but the different walks. Let me talk about the walks. The Coast Guard walks in, we walk in, we do our thing, whatever. We sit down with the rest of the TSA, but DHS.
Okay.
We sit down, we do our whatever. The other branches walk in, Army walk in, they got it's like a swag. It's a little different.
They fly and they know it.
Yeah, it's the other branches walk in and they just look different. They look diverse. It look like, oh, like that looks like home. It's like they walk in and it just feels that's home.
Okay. So
it's definitely a different. I don't know. That was just my interpretation when I saw all of us together. I'm like, this is cool. That was cool, but like that feels familiar over there. So they definitely have that advantage. It's more of them in there, but I feel Coast Guard.
Yes.
Needs to look like that. Like this is it's like gold. Like it's like a hidden treasure. I feel like.
Okay.
As far as military branches, with the military benefits and everything that we get, like the other branches, as far as day-to-day mission stress, I feel like this is better.
Okay.
Yeah, especially when you have a family. It's more catered to those people who have families and don't want to be away from their families for long periods of time.
Because we are the Coast Guard.
Because we are the Coast Guard.
We
exactly.
are guarding the coast. So
if you're going to do it, I feel like you might as well go Coast Guard.
Right on.
Working on my recruitment.
Look here.
But no, that's truth though. I don't know.
Are there any sisters in service that inspired you? Any black ladies in uniform that inspired you? They could be retired, active duty, reserves, whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot. Some of them I don't even know their names. I just know them as Master Chief. But I know Captain Merchant. It's kind of weird. So I met her in person at Captain Judge's change of command at the training center.
Okay.
So I drove up there for that and took one of my coworkers. I tried to encourage other epic people to come. I went up there and I met Captain Merchant in person, and I cried when I saw her. And
Wow.
and she was just like, she didn't know what to say. She was like, oh. She went to something else and she was like, oh hey, but yeah, I really admire Captain Merchant. And then there's Lieutenant Kia Osley. Like she's amazing also. I learned a lot from her, and she later became like a mentor with my career, navigating it. And I'm trying to think any other. Oh, there was a warrant officer here. Can't think of her name right now, but she recently retired. But all of these women, they're like very, they're very good at what they do. They're very strategic, well-spoken, poised women. And
wait, have you met a black lady Coast Guardsman that was not well-spoken? Good. It looks like I stumped you. Good.
Yeah, no.
So we don't have to qualify.
Maybe I would say myself. Like, that's one thing that I'm working on.
I would not say that.
Honestly, but I feel like as I become more political, more strategic, and more well-spoken, I'll be more of what a Coast Guard African-American woman is in my eyes. Like, when I see them, like, they're really cream of the crop Coast Guardsmen. They're not just the average Coast Guardsmen. Most of them, the ones that are in, they're not average. There's no way for them to be average. Like, we're told very young, if you're going to be, you got to be the best at whatever you do, pretty much. You got to work harder, all that stuff. And I wanted not to believe that. I wanted to believe that I could just go to work like my peers and be fine.
And not fight for your hair.
And not fight for anything. just go to work and do my job. But it's like, nope, you got to worry about this now. And and you better do it the right way, because if you do it, if you messy with it, or you're not using strategy when you're working these commands and different things, it's gonna hit you,
Right.
Yeah. And there was a lieutenant command. I don't want to say her name. I don't even want to say her rank. She was an officer, and I remember I was going through all this stuff. And I went because my mom kind of knew somebody that knew her and was like, yeah, you need to go talk to her. So I went and I sat and I talked to this lady, this officer, and she asked me, she said, you know how I got to be where I'm at? And I felt like it was a rhetorical question, so I didn't say much, or I don't remember my response. But what she said to me was, you come to work, you do your job well, and you mind your business. Don't go out there trying to change the world, do all that. Just focus on you, your job, and taking care of your family. Do that. So
she
pretty
told
much
you to keep your head down.
Yes, pretty much.
Did this lady tell you to shut up and dribble? Because it sounds like
pretty much. She all that stuff I was doing with the hair stuff. She pretty much was like, what are you doing?
Wow.
Wow. Go do. And I took that the first couple days. I was like, she got a point. But then, once something actually happened, once policy did change, and I got all the thank yous from people, I don't know, just as I grew up in the service, I felt like I can do more than that. It's just I got to do it a little bit more strategically. I got to take a little bit of what she said. Maybe I do need to perfect my craft. I think that's important. But also, I can go through my career and help people as well. I don't have to keep my head down, but if I'm going to say something or do something, I need to know what I'm talking about, how to talk about it, the right channels, how to protect myself. And yeah, so talking to her, I was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
But when I look at it, like I said before, I wasn't close with a lot of black females. When me and the other girl tried to do the hair stuff and do the memos, I asked the girl that was having issues with her braids and had to take it out the same day.
I hate that she did that, man.
Yeah, that O said that. But when I asked the other girl, she was a E5 at the time. E4 or E5. But when I asked her, could she sign something or come with us, just supporting what we were doing, because I witnessed what she went through. She said, no, I'm trying to go O right now. I can't have anything messing up my package. And I was like, you got a point, but it kind of hurt my stomach, because I'm just like, this is what I have to do to kind of rank up. So now, like, when people, I told you I'm not going for officer. I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna do what I feel called to do and help people in my own way. And that's how I have to stay. That's how I'm gonna make it in the Coast Guard. I cannot just do my job and do it well. Mind you, I'm still scary with my command. So, but I'm learning politics. I'm learning how to talk to them and be strategic, so that way I can still survive and, put food on the table for my family.
Word. Word.
But yeah, that's Black women, like some of them at least.
You met some good Black women, and then you met that lady who was an okay Black lady.
She is amazing, but she's amazing because she did the things that she had to do to get to where she was. So she's amazing. Yes, exactly. She's amazing because she's an officer, and for the longest I thought being an officer was like the ultimate, like, oh, if you're an officer, you're an amazing person. You've made it. You're successful. Now I don't think that so much. Now I think, like, if you're an officer, like, yeah, I mean, it might have been hard getting there and you did some amazing things, but I don't know. Like, I feel like a lot of officers nowadays are missing the personal aspect. And even the ones that I've met who, like, try to give off a personal touch to their leadership, it feels fake. Like, I've been asked, how am I doing? And I'll answer, and they don't really have much to say back. It's kind of like they just ask.
It's a formality.
Yeah, a formality thing. Like,
way to be polite.
Yeah.
We could have saved this, though.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. It's definitely a difference that I'm seeing. Not saying that's all O's or Black O's, but, like, there's a lot of politics, and the politics get even heavier once you make O.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you say that you are a better leader or will be a better leader than the people you grew under?
I feel like you're not a great leader if the people under you are not better leaders than you are.
Get it.
So, like,
come on.
Like, in my own leadership right now, like, this is me not even being political. Like, my chief is like, she actually cares about, about her people.
Yeah.
And she tries to make me a better yeoman, but to be honest, I don't want to be a yeoman. So I'm only doing it, and I'm doing the best that I can because I love her and I know she cares for me. So, and I don't want her to look bad. So, but I mean, I feel like that she's doing her job. Like, she's leading us to a common goal, team. Yeah. She's leading. I'm working. I'm doing the job.
Right on.
So, but yeah, and then, like, my mentors, like, I have some really good mentors. Mm-hmm. Like, one of them I talk to all the time, and he's like a big brother. But, like, he's honest up front about a lot of my challenges and things I need to work on. Mm-hmm. And he puts me in positions where I have to work on those and tweak those. And I feel like, he told me, he was like, pretty much that he was gonna mentor me and make me a better person. I feel like that's what he's been doing. And it's what's keeping me in the Coast Guard. So,
Right on.
One of the things. So, so yeah.
It looks like you're finding friendship in a couple of places.
Yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You ranked up not too long ago. Not incredibly long ago. Do you feel that the way you are treated has improved with your rank?
Not really.
I mean, honest. If it's a no, it's a no.
Yeah, I mean, the way I'm treated, no. But I mean, I guess maybe I got some more responsibility. But like, okay, I'll just answer your question. No. But I feel like for me, like, because of everything that I went through, how I treat people is different.
Okay.
So like, I will, the one person that I have under me, I will never throw him under the bus.
Come on.
So like, we work really well together. I've invited him over for Thanksgiving.
Good.
and he feels like a brother, and that's kind of how I want like my military relationships to be. One, because like we move all over the place. I haven't moved yet, but this guy he's from Colorado, so he don't have no family here. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to make it my business to make him feel like, that we were brother and sister, that he got family here.
Right on.
And then also you're a E4, you're at the bottom in our office, quote unquote, with rank. So like, if there's anything that I can do, I'm gonna try to protect you, in any way that I can.
Love it.
So yeah, so I think it changed me and how I treat people.
You're becoming a part of somebody else's village.
Yeah.
Right on. Mm-hmm. You're somebody else's support system. Good for you. Can you tell me something you wish you had known before joining the military?
I wish I had gotten a political major or majored in politics. Or
wow.
I don't even know if that would have helped, because I don't even know. But like the amount of politics that is involved with being in the service is ridiculous. Like it starts very, very young in the service. Like you have to have tact and strategy, I believe, with staying in the service and being happy and successful. Yeah, you got to be good in politics.
The art of dancing on eggshells.
Yeah.
Dancing around eggshells.
Pretty much. Protect your ass.
Yes. CYA at all times. Let's say you were just starting out in life, and you were presented with the opportunity to join the service for the first time today. Mm-hmm. Knowing what you know now, would you still join?
Yeah.
You would?
I would. Hell yeah. Because...
What? You said hell yeah.
Yeah, because, okay.
Did you hear this conversation?
For one, the benefits, are good, especially when you got a baby or whatever. Like, the benefits are good. And then the experiences, like, I haven't been able to experience much, but I've heard of other people experiencing different things on cutters and seeing things. Mm-hmm. So that's cool too. And then also I just think, like, I went through a lot, but like every Black woman, you could maybe say every person has a story, but Black women in general and Black minorities in the military have a unique story, and it's rough. They had at least one rough patch, but like it makes them stronger and tougher, and like if you can survive this, then you're pretty much set up to survive anything in the civilian world. Plus, if I'm 18 looking to join the military, I think it's good because it sets you up. You can take that time to figure out exactly what you want to do, rather than jumping right into college and you don't know. Okay. Like that's what I did. I just went into college and I'm like, oh, I think I like foreign languages and other people's cultures. I'm gonna study international relations. What job I'm gonna get with that, I don't know. And then then I end up studying history. I mean, I think it helps you discover yourself, discover the wolf in you, like the go-getter. But yeah, like it sharpens you. So are you in your wolf stage now, or are you just like in a big dog stage right now? I'm not a wolf yet.
Not fully grown wolf.
Nah. Even though I went through all that military training, it did not prepare me for all this. Like I did not. Politics was not taught in JROTC and CCADS.
No.
So,
but you can march really good, though.
Yeah. I love marching. Do you remember me at boot camp? I was really good.
March your ass off.
I loved marching. It was frustrating seeing everybody else not knowing how to march at boot camp. I'm just saying.
She is talking about me. We went through boot camp together, as she just said, and she is very good at marching, and in spite of my being prior service, I didn't learn shit. Thank you for pointing that out, though. You thought you was going to sit here and throw shade at me while I'm saying, yeah, everybody's not good at march. I'm sitting right here, girl. I know you're talking about me.
Yeah.
So you would say that your good has outweighed the bad since being in the military. Your experience as a whole. Experience?
Yeah. No. Like I think this is a rough story. Like the military was hard. It was hard for me. I guess it's getting better, but like I was not about to re-enlist. Like I was literally about to carry my ass out like a month ago. But
very recently. Okay.
Yeah. And it was because like I joined the Coast Guard as a reservist. They only gave me 2 options for a career. It was SK or Yeoman.
Okay.
And so I went yeoman because yeoman sound cool. Like, yo, man, you know, SK was like,
Get the hell out.
I was like storekeeper. They didn't.
She was like, that rhymes with a lot of stuff. I'm
Yeah.
like, it rhymes with woman.
It makes sense. Exactly.
I can
was
put
like,
it in some bars.
so I was like, I'll do that. And then but like now that I'm in, like I don't want to be a yeoman no more. You know, I want to go where I wanted to, but now getting picked up for this recruiter job, it kind of just spoke to me with all the extracurricular stuff and volunteer work that I do outside of work.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had to stay a yeoman, even because I was even thinking about going reserve officer just to get out of the yeoman rate, you know, if I couldn't become a recruiter. But they gave me the recruiter job, so now I'm good. We're friends. So
you and the guard are back on good terms again. All right.
Yeah. So I think once you find your place, then you know, find your place in the Coast Guard, and then you can stick it out. But it's been hard, and the military has a lot of control over you.
It does. It's
like,
a full life experience.
Yeah, like even though I got the dream job that I want, I gotta leave my kids here because I'm taking them from their father and their family and everything they know here. Mm-hmm. So that's like the hardest part. But you know, I got the dream job now.
Work life balance.
Yeah, it's always something. It can't always be 100%. There's always something. Oh, you got but you got to go on a boat and be away from your family for months at a time.
Right.
You know. Okay, great. Thanks for the money. Money for my tears.
So I was gonna say you can dry your tears with those dollar bills.
Yeah.
And there are bigger bills now.
Yeah. So there's always something.
If you had a daughter or a young impressionable black girl that you cared about, that was in your life, and she was considering a life in the military, would you try to point her in a different direction?
I would ask her honestly what job she wants, and then try to move her into the branch that supports that. Or if she's interested in joining the Coast Guard, mm-hmm. or in my recruiter role, you know, because I would tell her to just come on, join the Coast Guard, because you know she can do her 4 years and get out. And I still think it's a more comfier branch of service compared to the other ones, or as family life goes and everything. It's just different. The culture is a little different. So I would tell her to go ahead and join the Coast Guard. But I would tell her to find a network, mm-hmm. or a mentor or somebody to connect with that's, you know, a few grades higher than her.
Mm-hmm. So mentorship is important.
Mentorship is like vital.
Okay.
Like you need, because like, you know, me as an E4, I learned a lot through Epic, through mentors that were provided to me through Epic. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like anything formal. It was kind of just like, oh, if you ever need anything from me, come see me, you know. Yeah. I needed something, you know, like, so I let them know what was going on. But yeah, like definitely having a mentor, somebody to like bounce ideas off of, like when you're planning on making your next move, is important, because they kind of know stuff and they got connections. Yeah. They can make a phone call, you know, it's nothing, you know, when they're that high up. So yeah, those connections are important. Mentors are vital for survival if you plan on making it a career, especially when you find yourself in trouble. It's like, you know.
It would be beneficial to have those mentors in place before trouble hits.
Yeah, it would.
But it's good that they pop up when when you need them.
Mm-hmm. If they know you beforehand, they're more likely to go up to bat for you, because they kind of know who you are a little bit and how you work, rather than just finding them when shit hit the fan.
Look, sometimes you don't know you need them until you need them.
Right. So, but yeah, I think my path has definitely been a lot smoother because of all the connects.
Good. Mm-hmm. Glad to hear it.
Yep. So
I hope it's a smooth sailing from here on out as well.
We'll see after this interview.
Don't want that. I will edit some stuff out. We'll see. I'm not editing the part where I called you senior chief a bitch ass, hoe ass, punk ass. Oh, did I call her bitch ass? She's a bitch ass. Bitch ass, hoe ass, punk ass bitch. She's the worst. She is garbage. I do not like this bitch at all.
Oh man.
Find better shit to. And she wasn't even in your chain of command. I'm like, no. Jesus fuck. This bitch was going out of her way to be a. Oh, I hate it. I hate it.
It was a nightmare.
Yeah, she sounds like one. She sounds like she's a very unattractive lady, and she doesn't get a lot of male interest.
Oh my gosh.
She sounds like she spends a lot of time at home by herself, just thinking of shit to do when she leaves the house finally to go to work because nobody wants to invite her anywhere. She sounds lonely, is what I'm saying.
Oh man.
Her life is devoid of fun, and I hope I'm right about all this shit.
Oh man.
All right, so back to these questions.
God damn.
Okay. Hey, if you were conducting this interview from where I'm sitting, what questions would you have asked you that I have not asked you?
Let's see.
Come on, bring it.
Have you found it helpful to have people who didn't look like you?
Ooh.
In your life, in your, connected in your network of people who mentor and inspire you.
Hey, I have a question. Have you ever found it helpful or beneficial to have people in your life that did not look like you, assisting you along the way?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, you have. Please elaborate.
Yeah, I had a really good lieutenant at my current command. He's not there no more. But this guy, it really, coming from where I came from, where I saw the dark side of what leadership of white ethnicity, like being white and being a leader could look like.
It really sounds like you were afraid to say the word white just
Yeah, okay. So coming from where I had a white leadership that was rough on me, not in a good way, to somebody who just thought I was incredible and wanted me to do good in anything I said I wanted to do. It was nice seeing that.
Yeah.
And it made me trust other white people. Not saying I didn't fully trust them, but I just seen what they could do. Yeah. But I also saw what they could do from him. Right. And then he left me with something really, really good, because he was retiring and I cried at his retirement, and I told him that if he retired I was going to cry at his retirement. So he said, good, I'm going to make you talk at my retirement. So I had to talk at his retirement, and I cried most of the time. But he gave me a card, and he was just what he said in there made sense, because when I first reported to him, he was talking to me and I got emotional because I was so scary. I was like a scared puppy going to these new units. I came to his office, I talked to him, and I told him about what I went through, and then he was like, okay, well, that's not me. I'm not out here trying to get you. He's like, matter of fact, I'm gonna make it my business. Whatever you say you want to do, we're gonna make sure it happens while you're here.
I love it.
So I was cool. But in his card that he gave me, he told me to look at everybody like family when you're helping them as a yeoman or period in the Coast Guard. So in your family, you have good family. You have people who actually want you to do well. You got the jealous family members who you can't tell with them, but not to trust them because they got some jealousy. You got people who are terrible, just don't need to be there. You got all types of family members. It's the same thing in the Coast Guard. So when you're helping John, who hates you, he's your family, so you got to help him.
That's a distant cousin.
Yeah, but you just treat them like family, look at them like that, and then it kind of helps just make you appreciate the person better and you being in your position and be able to help them. So it was helpful, and he was a good guy. And then I had a captain who was really, really good too, but of course he was a captain, so there was some politics and stuff influencing some of his decisions, but I loved him no matter what. He did look out for me a few times. So, and then the white people in your organization or in the Coast Guard who feel who actually want to be there to learn about minority issues and stuff. Like, there are people like that there that aren't politically driven. I mean, I think if anybody need to have politics, it's us.
Okay.
But like really need to know it. But but yeah, there's some out there that aren't politically driven. They actually care and they want you to succeed and care about these different issues that we bring up. So, but yeah,
no, I love that.
That's my answer.
And it's important. That's an important question. It's an important answer.
We are in this branch of service where there's not many of us.
Right.
The Army looked like that with the baby edges.
They sound fly. I'm a little jealous right
Even the
now.
Air Force was in there. Like, they all had their swag, and then it was just us. And we got our own type of swag too. But
really,
I mean, it's okay. I can't call it a swag, but we all of the branches have their own touch.
Honesty on this podcast. You take that lie right now.
We were definitely different, okay? But yeah. So it's not many of us. So yeah, you gotta find your team, even when they don't look like you.
That's important. That's important.
And have your distant, maybe, have your distant mentors. Like, you might have met somebody in Portsmouth or in DC, because that's where all of us are mainly.
Yes, pretty much. Yes.
Get their numbers, stay connected when you go across the country, because more than likely, because we're so small, they know somebody who can help you.
Right.
So.
And you're probably gonna run into these people again, anyways.
Yeah.
Who knew that we were gonna run into each other again?
Yeah.
I certainly had no intentions of memorizing anybody in that class.
Yeah. So that was crazy. That was a nice coincidence. It was like a New Year gift.
It was.
It was in January, I think.
Was it?
Yeah, I think not recent January, but when I first saw you at that women's
yeah, women's talk emporium panel thing.
Yeah.
That was cute.
Mm-hmm. We tried.
Gonna be honest, I was going through a lot with my chain of command at that time. I was filing EO claims left and right. I needed a reason to not be in the office, and that was a good reason.
Yeah.
And she's a warrant now, but my chief at the time, she felt bad for me because she knew I was catching hell. She's a good person. She happily let me go to this little panel, because she knew I just need to get out of the office. I just need to not be here all the time because they go try it again today. So that worked out twice. I got to get out the office and I got to see my friend again. Man.
Yeah, reconnect.
Yeah.
Wait, so what were you going through? Because I didn't know we met when we was both going through stuff.
Auntie. Oh my God.
Wait, was your warrant white or black?
The lady that was helping me, like the chief that got me out of the office, like signed off on me going to this panel.
Yeah.
She is actually Latinx.
Okay.
Puerto Rican. She's a warrant officer now. You're glad to see people make it that do good by you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It was nice to see her go from chief to senior chief to warrant. And it's like, you know what? She's doing good, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad to see her moving up in rank. She's a nice person. She looked out for like a little low-ranking black lady like me.
Yeah.
But the other people in the office, the people higher ranking than her, both of them were, I might as well just say white people. They were white ladies. I was trying to think of a politically...
See, I was trying to too, and then you got on me.
Yeah, I was like, shit, what?
Caucasian.
And now it looks like I was afraid to say white, and I wasn't afraid. I was just trying to be cute.
Yeah.
Nah, they was white ladies, all right?
Yeah.
They was white women. EO claims on both of them.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like I feel like black guys, I don't want to say they have it easier, but it's just a little different.
Yeah.
Like,
no, you're right.
Being a female anyways, like, I feel like for some reason females in leadership, some of them come harder on you.
That's
female
not just
in
you.
general.
But
then add black on top of that, like, it's like, oh my gosh.
I've never had a black lady come down on me.
Oh no, I haven't had a black female.
But also, I actually.
Yeah, I was about to say, I haven't had her come. She wasn't in my command. She just questionable character.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I know not to trust you.
Right.
But luckily you're not in my chain of command.
Right.
So.
One black lady that wasn't my chain of command, she didn't give me hell. She just like, girl, why are you always in my face like this? This is a little unnecessary. You know, you like double my rank right now, honey.
Do you think she was trying to help you, or do you think
She was not? There was a situation where I got put on a duty, involuntarily, of course. It was a brand new duty, and the duty called for the use of cell phones. And fine, I'll do the duty. I'll do whatever I'm told to do. But if it requires extra equipment, if it requires the tools, then my job needs to provide those tools for me.
Yeah.
So as a yeoman, not once have I ever PCS to a new station and had to provide my own computer and printer. So if you're putting me on this duty that requires the use of a cell phone, if I'm a OD, I'm gonna have a cell phone. That's not a problem.
Right.
If I'm JOD, I'm gonna have a cell phone. That's not a problem. But this new duty you're putting me on, fine. If it requires the use of a cell phone, give me a cell phone.
not you making commands? Making demands.
Look, that's just common sense. If you tell a person to do a job, provide the tools that person needs to do that job.
Yeah.
So I asked for a phone, and she got a little pissy. I was like, "Yo, I didn't even ask to be on this duty.
Mm-hmm.
Not that anybody asked to be on any duty.
Yeah.
But if you're going to put me on it, provide the tools that you're requiring I use." So she got mad that I was asking, that I had the audacity to ask for a cell phone. End of the story, I get my cell phone. Because of course, like, I'm making very good points.
Yeah.
I'm not making outlandish demands here. And I'm thinking the whole time, you're lucky I only asked for a cell phone for me instead of sending an email to everybody who is on this duty and saying, hey, I got a cell phone because it's a requirement for this job.
Yeah.
Y'all should ask for cell phones too. Like, you're lucky I didn't make a big deal out of it, sweetheart, because I could have gotten 10 cell phones out of y'all instead of just this one.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've never had to give myself my personal number out.
Right.
You know?
And here's the thing, it was for COVID. Like, I was one of those people that you call or whatever. If you get COVID, I forget what it's called, a tracer.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course I don't want to give everybody my fucking number. Like, this is not a job requirement. It should not be a job requirement that I give out my personal cell phone number that I am paying the bill on.
Right. Yeah.
So if you need a cell phone to be used, you're going to have to give me a cell phone.
Right.
That is not a bad demand. That is not an outlandish demand.
Yeah, I've never been on duty and had to use my cell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And why should you?
Yeah. So.
But that was like the spiciest black lady I ever was ever under, and it was just that situation that kind of that was too spicy. That was the spiciest it ever got for me. But every other black lady has been, for the most part, wonderful. I've been under Chief Warrant Officer Waltina Pitts, lovely lady. I adore her. Any other black lady I've ever met, open arms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had good experiences.
Yeah.
Are you jealous?
Well, I don't know. I just haven't really connected. I mean, I don't know. I've been making some connections lately, but again, it's through Epic, and they're not local. They're like, in other places, DC, Maryland, California.
I mean,
but they're Coast Guard,
Yeah, get your village wherever it is.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, you could say that. I've made connections with black females. And one of them actually helped me get this recruiter job. So.
Get it. See? Come on.
She told me about the thing and told me how to apply for it, everything. Told me on time because it was like a fast turnaround,
Yeah.
So, and then, encouraged me. Yeah, so.
And you love this job that you're about to get.
Oh, this is a dream job.
Girl.
So. Yeah, so now I'm going to stay. But
Come on,
a
village.
couple months ago, I was about to carry my ass.
She's about to carry her black ass out of the military altogether. She was going to do some civilian stuff.
Yep. Yeah.
Finally. Is there anything that you would like to leave our audience with?
I don't know. I'm a purpose-driven person.
Get it?
So,
come on.
Like, I feel like anything you do, whether it's in the Coast Guard or in the civilian world, just do it with intention. Do it for purposeful reasons, like for reasons. I mean, if money is your calling or you're driven for that, do it for that. Yeah, and be authentic. Look out for people, especially people that can't really protect themselves. Yeah, and like bestow that wisdom that you learned from being in for so long, the different strategies and stuff. Like, don't be afraid to help other people. Like, you don't have to do it, in front of people, because I know some people might feel weird about helping another sister out, maybe in front of white people. Because I feel like that might be a thing, but like y'all can do it behind closed doors. Pass people a piece of paper like, "Hey, here's my number." Like, I mean, I think the culture is getting better, but like, for people who are worried about different things, with their career, still protecting themselves, do it in a way that you can that makes you feel comfortable, but still try to help help somebody who you see struggling.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. I love it.
Yeah.
I would like to thank you for welcoming me into your home and your time in your schedule. I appreciate you sitting down and talking with me. This was informative, entertaining, and I just loved it. I just love talking to you anyways. And that concludes our first episode of the Seasoned Vet podcast. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. And a special thank you to the phenomenal Coast Guard sister that made this interview possible. Now, if you are or if you know a Black lady veteran who would like to sit down with me and be a part of the show, please email me at theseasonedvetpodcast@gmail.com. Or you can call or text message me at 713-254-0970. You can also find, follow, and inbox me, The Seasoned Vet, across all platforms of social media. I'm at Real Seasoned Vet on Twitter, at Seasoned Vet Podcast on Instagram, at Seasoned Vet Podcast on TikTok, at Seasoned Vet on YouTube. On Facebook, I'm Seasoned Vet. Y'all, I'm so out there, I'm even on Spoutable. That's at The Seasoned Vet on Spoutable. Now, if you like what you heard, please like it, share it, rate it, and leave a good review on whatever platform you're listening to this on. And if you're listening to this episode on the day that it drops, happy Juneteenth. Thank you again for tuning in. And until next time, fall out.